Here we go again. There are many crows above me, and they're probably going to get scared as I walk through here. So pay attention to the sound of flapping wings. It's a beautiful time for a walk in the dark. The snow is freshly fallen. The crows are eerily hopping from tree to tree above me, responding to the waves of sound which travel from my mouth, my throat, to a radius beyond my body. Each of our bodies is much bigger than we think it is. Ourselves have much larger an effect than we generally remember. And it's to attune oneself to to remember these things that is most important in the day-to-day. Every day is a blessing, and although mundane seeming oftentimes can erupt into a moment or an episode at any at any given opportunity, we are not at liberty to choose these moments. So it is best to stay adamantly prepared. I think as well, bursts of creativity, to truly ride the creative energy, is to forego those things which put barrier between you and the spirit. I see very few hedonists that truly thrive in the realm of creativity. I think things which contain the element of air like smoke somewhat doesn't weigh one down and can somewhat contribute to creativity, but I often see people who eat a lot, who weigh themselves down with the material, very unable to participate in activities of the spirit. The feeling of creativity truly changes from moment to moment and from person to person. But I think the true ecstasy of artistry occurs when one is simply a vessel through which spirit can openly flow. I think we participate in artistry every day with our conversations, with our choice of words, the way that we dress, the way that we carry ourselves about the world. There's an artistry in self. And I think that this goes beyond ego if one is able to put the self in context of itself. There is something to be said of being a picture of greater wisdom a force of remembering, a force of articulation, of great knowledge and wisdom, straight from the horse's mouth or on the shoulder of giants, and then translated to layman's terms for the masses. I think there's great utility in artistry, which connects not to some highbrow, you'd have to be educated to see it style art, but something which is visceral, something in the body, in all bodies, which is undeniable. I think the use of symbolism and the understanding of universal symbolism, things like blood, color, water, the elements, all of them, animals, various seasons, and bodies, celestial bodies. I think it's important to understand all of these symbols, because with the faculty of language always being somewhat lacking, there is somewhat of a beauty to being able to say things briefly, and this is where the artist can step in between the signal and what is being said. A good artist knows how to turn something quite abstract and beautiful into something physical and, perceivably beautiful to anyone, not just the artist. But there is form and there is formlessness which has yet to become formed. And so much in this world has been given to us, preformed, not for us to take advantage of, not for us to abuse, but for us to nurture. I think of human beings not as destroyers of this earth or an alien on this planet, but as something which can be both negative or positive depending on the actions taken and the attitude of the people. I think that human beings have it in them to be stewards of the land, but that this requires education. I think that a human born naked and thrown into this world is as good as dead. And oftentimes, if they don't die, things can get really bad for those people as well. I feel if you don't have a plan, you can become part of someone else's. And a human being, just as easily as an artist can be a vessel for creativity, an addict, or simply a highly emotionally charged person can be a vessel for demonic forces from the lower realms which envy our humanity and so pry into our consciousness in attempts to become us, to feed themselves. This may sound ridiculous, but spiritual hunger is something very real. And I feel like just as when a human is so hungry that they have to be really careful the first thing they eat from a long fast, so too the spirit of humanity must go gently. That's everything.